Grüezi YouTubers, we are here in the lovely little town of Walensee, which is at the base of the Churfirsten mountains, which you can hopefully see behind me there. And these mountains are known for being interesting geologically because the older material is actually on the top and the newer material is on the bottom due to some sort of way that the earth shifted at some point. So we are going to do a hike along the lake today. It's also along the shores of the lake behind me called Walensee. And we're going to go up along the ridge by those mountains. We did this hike during the summer and thought it might be really nice as the trees started to change. So I'll check in a bit later as we get up on the mountains. Well, as you can see, the morning fog that sits low in Switzerland is starting to lift. And as we're walking towards the edge of the lake, we're seeing these nice vineyards which are turning with fall colors. And then if we look up where we're headed, some nice fall color in the trees. So looking forward to getting a closer look at all that. All right, we made it to the edge of Walensee, and as you can see, fall is in all of its splendor here. So pretty. We are about to go vertical though. So check in later when we get higher on the trail. All right, we are about to get vertical here. This is the path heading up, and we just came across some instructions for gathering mushrooms. So basically you can gather mushrooms from 8 to 8, and your group needs to be less than 3 people or 3 or less, and you can only take 2 kilograms of mushrooms per person. So good to know. Maybe we will be hunting our dinner later. We've been walking uphill for a few minutes now, and as you can see, we're up above the lake. It is still pretty foggy, but lifting, and you can see one of the nice vineyards down below us. And off to the left of the main trail is the diverge for the smaller nature walk that you can take. So if you come here with a family and you don't want something too aggressive, you can turn down here and go back to the lakeside and walk back to town that way. And there's lots of little nature cards telling what the different types of trees are and everything. Oh, we're finally getting a small glimpse of the mountains on the other side of the lake. But as you can see, the fog is still sitting in there pretty densely. Hopefully that'll clear before we come down to the bottom. Here we've come to some nice fall color that we've started to get into. As the painter Bob Ross would say, that's a pretty little tree. We just passed a viewpoint a ways back, but unfortunately the view of the lake and the mountains on the other side is still obscured by the fog, so we'll keep watching for other views that way. Here's one of the things you'll see quite frequently when hiking in Switzerland. These are markers indicating that you are on a Wanderweg, which is basically any kind of hike that isn't considered a high alpine hike. So the high alpine routes actually have different markings for the Swiss Alpine Club, but most of the hikes that you go on, you'll see these yellow markings, and then at big junctions you'll see yellow signs. I'll show you one of those when we find one. Okay, so here you can see one of the larger junction signs, and you can see where we've just come from, Walensee, and they're estimating train station is 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think we are just over an hour right now walking. And basically also warning that you can't get to the next town on the trail called Quinton with a bike. That's because the trail goes from sort of a fire road to a very narrow track. And then this direction there's actually a road down to a town called Walensee where you can catch a bus, which that's exactly what the sign is telling us. This lovely meadow with hay barn marks the top of the elevation gain, and just past that grove of trees is the start of the peaks jutting up, and unfortunately they are hiding from us right now, but perhaps if we sit here and enjoy the trees and eat some lunch, they will come out for us in a little while. Well, we haven't gotten the whole thing to open up, but we have gotten it where we can see a few of the peaks up above here. This is about as close as we've gotten. It's a really beautiful fall scene though, and we also have a time lapse going to see if we can catch the movement of the clouds. Almost the whole theater has come out now. It's quite lovely. Still a little hazy view of the peaks, but we're really enjoying our fall scene here as we wrap up lunch. So we decided instead of going straight back down the trail we came up, we would divert through the town of Walensee, and it appears to be mostly dairy farms here, but you can see it's a very cute little town. Alright, here we are at the end of our hike. We just got back to Walensee. We came via Walensee, and you can see it's estimated to be about an hour and 25 minutes, or probably just slightly less than that. And the trail was a mix of walking on the road and walking on smaller trails that cut the switchbacks. Definitely not the nicest trail conditions, but definitely nice views of the peaks that you couldn't see from the other trail. So maybe worth the diversion and a nice way to mix up the hike.